Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on. We're still working within basically our bearish type of pattern here. It's a head and shoulders pattern, establishing lower lows and lower highs. So we're going to pay attention to that trend line and just recognize too the CME gap has been filled. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to continue tremendously lower. I'm still looking for an entry in the low 140s, upper 130s, just based on the simple fact that that's a solid support range. Local high would be retested, and that would put us probably in the $90,000 to $92,000 range for Bitcoin. At least I feel that needs to happen in order for Solana to pull back to that level. So it depends on how you look at it, of course, and how you plan to trade. But at this point, we have slightly more bearish indications than bullish, but that's just kind of par for the course when price action moves like this. Keep in mind too, altcoins looking kind of shaky today, with Bitcoin being kind of on its edge, if you will. So with Bitcoin being potentially due to pull back, a lot of alts are like hitting that they're hovering over that sell button, right? So just be mindful of that. There's a lot more potential for the price to run down than it is to run up, and I'm mostly speaking up in a whole, just on average for altcoins today. It doesn't necessarily mean this coin specifically. This one is still very strong on the overall sense, but when we look at liquidation, 142 to 145, there's that lower range there, of course. So low 140s seems like a practicality at this point. Once more, the macro perspective kind of indicates that. And when we look at our liquidation delta, we're still very bearish here. More people are shorting than taking longs in this coin, and I side with that. We have a short open with Solana 2 at 149.25. So still tentatively in the green. We've come close to our take profit targets a couple times, and honestly, it's difficult to want to hold a position right now because Bitcoin's significantly it doesn't know what the heck it wants to do right now. It's like it's very unsure. It's given us bullish signs, bearish divergences, significant resistances, but extra liquidation. There's like it's a mixed bag, right? You could literally flip a coin right now for Bitcoin. So anyways, having said that though, we're kind of smack dab in the middle of this open interest area. So once more, indecision, we're kind of in a range between, just say 145 and 155 as a close approximate. So until we break that range, we're going to presume the price will continue lower because we're still establishing lower highs. Okay, so that's kind of the key takeaway I would say here at this point. Just giving you some food for thought, of course. Now, when it comes to the bigger picture, not much has really changed either. If you look at the daily time frame here, we're still above all moving averages, still looking very positive. I do think that we're due to continue higher in the overall sentiment. But a short-term pullback to the local high makes a little bit more sense to me, just based on how we're kind of breaking down here. But if we were to break this lower high pattern, there's a different, there'd be a shift in momentum. I do personally feel like we'd probably see our macro support or previous support turned resistance at about 160 retested. So we could see a run towards 160, but I think 140 is a little more practical. Once more, from a momentum standpoint, we can see stochastic swinging down, money flow index tapering off. RSI, while maintaining above our SMA, is good. It's still not great. So there's some cracks in the glass here on the daily time frame, but the overall sentiment is still bullish. And I know some folks are probably going to be like rolling their eyes at that too, like, wait a minute, you're telling me it's bullish and bearish at the same time? Yeah, that totally happens. That's literally what trading is, just constant fake outs. That's how markets are manipulated. They get you to think that you should go long when instantly the price goes back down. So usually when you have these indecisive moments, the best trade is no trade. But I want to identify some key levels for you so you understand where you want to consider getting in if the price does pull back. And if it goes higher, where do you want to secure profits? Well, the easy answer there on securing profits is between 157 and 160 because we got our macro high, or basically our previous support at 160, if you recall. That's going to be a potential new resistance for us. And then, of course, we got this local high of 157. So that range 157 to 160 is a good resistance range for us. That's where you would want to consider taking profits, somewhere between here and here. All right. That said, below the price action, we got these two key areas here as well, the support range. The upper support range is 141, lower support range is 136. So that's the area I'm interested in considering a long position because we would be retesting the local highs if we were to be back in that range. And there is some control there in that range as well if you kind of zoom out based on volume. Okay, so there's some positive stuff there, but I'm not trying to, rain on your parade. I want the price of Bitcoin to go up too, but let's just be realistic. Bitcoin is overextended still. While it's ranging and more likely to break up, it's all the more reason why it'll probably break down, because people think we're going to see the price go higher. So as breakout traders continue to add to their position at these higher price points, the likelihood of further downside becomes greater. Okay, so that's just kind of how it works. In general, we're also kind of starting to squeeze out here right around 50 on the RSI, basically implying indecision and that you want to wait for a side to be chosen before you take a trade. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to be telling you not to take a trade. That's what a good trader will do. Believe it or not, the best traders don't trade in situations like this. So either way you look at it, if you do end up taking a trade, just consider that some of the areas I discussed here. If you don't take a trade, more power to you. Just go ahead and hang out on the sidelines. It's okay to not trade for a little while. Even if this is your full-time thing like me, I don't trade all the time, and that's okay. It's kind of whatever. Some days are just kind of weird. And Bitcoin is giving us a lot of false positives, folks, and that translates to coins like this here. But the key takeaway, I would say, is that the trend right now, for now, is down. We've broken our ascending trend line to the upside, and we are essentially breaking tentatively bearish to the downside with the lower highs. We have to presume that will continue until that trend breaks. Okay, so what that looks like is an invalidation above 152. If we close above this level sometime today, that would break the descending trend and give us consideration for a long at that point. That would also require Bitcoin to be maintaining and breaking through its resistance right now too, which hasn't happened yet. Okay. All right, folks. Thanks again. I hope that made sense. I described it correctly. Be sure to check out our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you haven't yet already. Got a lot of good stuff rolling out over there with shorts and stuff. It's been a really good experience, and getting some awesome feedback too. So thanks for always hitting that like button, supporting the channel, commenting below too. Let me know where you're at with Solana. You think we're going up or you think we're going down? I'd love to hear it. I hope you have a good one either way. Thanks so much again for your time. Take care.